Portugal's real estate industry does not want you to see this video because the 12 towns I'm about to show you make every overpriced one-bedroom in Lisbon look like a financial mistake, and every glossy retirement brochure look like it left out the good stuff on purpose. You already know about the Algarve's golf resorts and Lisbon's Instagram staircases. This is not that video. This is the version nobody talks about. A stone farmhouse that costs less than a used pickup truck. Neighbors who actually know your name, not a gated villa community with a concierge and a waiting list. Not paying $2,000 a month to live near a beach you'll visit twice a year, if that. I spent months driving through the parts of Portugal that never make it onto the postcards or the glossy retirement brochures. And what I found were towns where a social security check of around $1,800 doesn't just cover the month, it stretches into savings. A thermal spa town with 9 museums and a population under 50,000. A medieval walled village kings used to gift as wedding presents. A mountain city where snow falls and rent runs €300 a month. An Atlantic island where you barely need a heater or an air conditioner ever. Hit subscribe right now because we're counting down 12 Portuguese towns the retirement industry hopes you never discover. And stick around because there's a tax change near the end that most retirement channels are still getting wrong. Number 12. Porto Alegre. Tucked into the Serra de São Mamede Mountains above the Alentejo Plains, Porto Alegre records the lowest median home price of any district capital in mainland Portugal, right around €1,100 per square meter, roughly $110 per square foot. When I first walked its old town, tapestry workshops still humming in converted mansions, the mountain air felt 10 degrees cooler than the plains below. There's a 24-hour hospital, a municipal market, a concert hall, the Centro de Artes e Espectáculos, with acoustics that outclass the ticket price by a mile, and a genuine sense of civic pride you don't find in towns built purely for tourists. You'll thrive here on the cool climate, a national park on your doorstep, and rents that undercut nearly everywhere else on this list. Caveat, it's genuinely remote, with buses to Lisbon running around 3 hours, so this one's for retirees who mean it when they say they want quiet. Number 11. Guarda. At over 3,000 feet, Guarda is the highest city in Portugal, and it looks it. Granite buildings, a Gothic cathedral, one of the country's finest, visible across the whole plateau, and winters that actually bring snow instead of just rain. Homes here average under €1,000 per square meter, among the cheapest of any district capital in the country. The quirky hook, Serra da Estrela, home to mainland Portugal's highest peak at nearly 2,000 meters, sits about an hour away, with actual skiing in winter and cold water river beaches, praias, fluviais in summer, and local cheese and high-altitude wines fill the shops downtown. Hospital Sousa Martins handles regional public care, and direct rail links reach both Lisbon and Porto without a transfer. You'll thrive here if you miss real seasons and want mountain scenery most people don't associate with Portugal at all. Caveat, those same winters mean heating costs that flatter coastal towns don't have to think about. Number 10. Castelo Branco. Right near the Spanish border, Castelo Branco has the cheapest median listing price on this list, close to €1,000 per square meter, with basic one-bedrooms renting for $500 to $800, and some listings even lower once you're outside the very center. A couple can live here on around $1,800 a month, all in, including rent, utilities, a phone, an internet package, groceries, dining out, and basic health insurance. The quirky fact, the town's Baroque Episcopal garden is packed with giant stone statues and elaborate staircases nobody expects to find in a town this size, built to impress visiting bishops centuries ago, and its hand-embroidered silk bedspreads, the colchas, date back to the 1700s and are still made locally today. You'll thrive here on a public hospital, a private hospital nearby, and a young university town energy that keeps prices honest and cafes open late. Caveat: the closest airport is Lisbon, about a 2-hour drive, so this isn't a spot for frequent quick trips home. Number 9. Viseu. Viseu sits in the wine country of the Dow region, and it consistently shows up on national quality of life rankings, not because anyone's marketing it to foreigners, but because it just works. Good roads, good hospitals, good food, low crime. Interior towns like Viseu let a retired couple live comfortably on 1,400 to 2,000 euros a month, well below what the same lifestyle would run on the coast. The quirky hook. This is one of the oldest cities in Portugal, with a cathedral dating to the 12th century, sitting above a granite old town threaded with vineyards on every surrounding hillside. And local wine here is considered some of the best in the country by people who never leave Portugal to say so, since most Dow wine never makes it onto export shelves. You'll thrive here with real infrastructure, a regional hospital, and none of the tourist crowding of the coast. Caveat: fewer English-speaking services than the Algarve, so some conversational Portuguese goes a long way toward daily comfort. Now, if you are enjoying this countdown and you haven't hit subscribe yet, now's a great time, because the next entries get progressively better, and there's a real tax law twist waiting for you near the top of this list. Number 8. Tomar. Tomar earned the most expensive spot among the interior towns, and it earns it honestly. This was the headquarters of the Knights Templar in Portugal, and the Convento de Cristo they built on the hill above town is now a full UNESCO World Heritage Site you can tour year-round, guided visits and all. The Nabao River runs straight through the center, lined with shaded walking paths and small parks. Housing here still starts well below coastal prices, with rents commonly under 800 euros for a comfortable apartment. You'll thrive here on genuine, tangible history, a steady flow of cultured visitors without ever feeling overrun by them, and an easy train connection to Lisbon for the days you want a bigger city. Caveat: being the priciest interior town on this list still means checking your budget carefully against the coast before you commit to anything. Number 7. Caldas da Rainha. Caldas is the hub of Portugal's Silver Coast, and the first thing locals will tell you about is the Thermal Hospital, one of the oldest of its kind in Europe, still treating patients today just as it has since the 15th century. A 2-bedroom apartment rents for 600 to 850 euros, and the whole Silver Coast lets a couple live comfortably on 1,800 to 2,400 euros monthly. The quirky fact: this flat, walkable town has 9 museums for a population under 50,000 people, including one dedicated entirely to its famous ceramics, plus a large public park with yet another museum tucked inside it. You'll thrive here with an express bus to Lisbon that runs about an hour and costs just $7 for anyone over 65, and a mostly flat layout that makes walking everywhere realistic well into your 80s. Caveat: it's a genuinely Portuguese town, not an expat enclave, so the community building is largely on you. Number 6. Óbidos. Óbidos is the kind of medieval walled village that looks staged for a film set. Except nobody built it for tourists, it's just been standing since the Moors, and then the Portuguese crown fortified it centuries ago. You can still walk the full ramparts around the town in about 40 minutes. One-bedroom rentals start around €850, with two-bedroom houses closer to 200,000 to buy outright. The quirky fact: Portuguese kings used to gift this entire village to their queens as a wedding present, a tradition that lasted for 600 years and gave the town its name, Óbidos, roughly translated as the Queen's Town. You'll thrive here on vineyards right up to the walls, a lagoon boardwalk nearby at Foz do Arelho, and healthcare through the same regional network, Centro Hospitalar do Oeste, that covers the rest of the Silver Coast. Caveat: it's tiny and touristy by day, so the real charm shows up after the day trippers leave. Number 5. Nazaré. Nazaré is a working fishing town that happens to also hold the world record for the biggest wave ever surfed, over 80 feet, right off its coastline every winter. Rent here runs comparable to the rest of the Silver Coast, €1,800 to €2,400 for a couple's full monthly budget. The quirky fact: fishermen's widows here still occasionally wear the traditional 7-layered skirts in local festivals, a tradition tied to mourning at sea that goes back generations, and surfers now travel from around the world every winter just to watch the record-breaking swells roll in. You'll thrive here on fresh seafood straight off the boats, a genuine non-touristy old town up the cliff in Sítio, and the same solid regional hospital network as Óbidos and Caldas. Caveat: winter surf season brings a specific crowd, and the cliffside upper town isn't the flattest walk for mobility concerns. If you've made it this far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach other people quietly doing the math on their own retirement. Number 4. Coimbra. Coimbra is the 4th largest city in Portugal, home to roughly 7,400 foreign residents already, and it earns its reputation honestly. The University of Coimbra dates to 1290, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site itself, and still fills the riverside city with genuine youthful energy that keeps the whole town feeling alive rather than sleepy. Apartment rent runs €430 to €1,000, depending on the neighborhood. The quirky hook: student traditions here, black capes, ancient fado, sung only by men in a style found nowhere else in Portugal, haven't changed in centuries, and you can watch it unfold from a cafe terrace on the Mondego River on any given evening. You'll thrive here with walkable neighborhoods, low crime, museums, theaters, riverside promenades, and real hospitals backed by a major medical university. Caveat: it is a bigger city than most on this list, so it trades some of the small-town quiet the rest of this countdown offers. Number 3. Ponta Delgada, the Azores. This is the wild card on the list, and it might be the best-kept secret in it. A single person's monthly budget runs under 1,100 euros, with a one-bedroom apartment around 600 and a larger place closer to 900. The quirky fact, this Atlantic island city sits in the middle of the ocean with volcanic crater lakes, natural hot spring pools you can soak in year-round, and a climate so mild that heating and air conditioning are barely needed at all. Most homes here don't even have either installed. You'll thrive here on fresh, mostly local food, since the islands import very little, low income and property taxes, and a pace of life that makes mainland Portugal look busy by comparison. Caveat: it's an island, so flights off it, even to the mainland, take planning, and some specialist care means a trip to Lisbon by air. Number 2. Olhão. Right next door to Tavira, Olhão is the Algarve's working fishing town, home to the region's best seafood market, and it consistently posts some of the lowest property prices on the entire southern coast. A one-bedroom apartment rents for 700 to 900 euros, cheaper than Faro just up the road. The quirky fact, Olhão was the first Portuguese town to declare independence from Napoleon's occupying forces back in 1808, sailing news of it to the exiled royal family in Brazil in a small fishing boat, and its Moorish-influenced cube-shaped rooftops make it look unlike anywhere else on the coast. You'll thrive here on real Algarve sunshine, easy ferry access to the barrier island beaches, and prices that undercut both Faro and Lagos. Caveat: it is less polished than the resort towns, which is exactly the appeal and exactly what to expect going in. Number 1. Tavira. Every time I come back to Tavira, it's the same feeling, a working Portuguese river town that just happens to have some of the best beaches in Europe a short ferry ride away, without a single high-rise resort in sight. A single retiree lives comfortably here on about $1,800 a month, roughly 20% less than Lisbon, and a couple stretches further still. One-bedroom rentals start around 500 euros, with the town center running 500 to 800. The quirky hook, Tavira's Roman Bridge and Hilltop Castle ruins sit right alongside working fishing boats, and its beach, the Ilha de Tavira, is a barrier island lagoon reachable only by a short ferry, so it never gets the traffic of a drive-up beach, even in the peak of summer. You'll thrive here on Hospital de Faro's regional care, a diverse and growing international community of Germans, Irish, French, Swedes, and Americans, English-speaking GPs, and genuine Algarve sunshine without Algarve crowds or Algarve prices. The one honest caveat, complex specialist procedures sometimes still mean a 2.5 to 3 hour trip to Lisbon. Here's why Tavira and towns like it top this list instead of the famous coastal resorts. The average American Social Security check runs around $1,800 a month, and that number alone covers a comfortable single life in Tavira, comfortably clears Portugal's D7 visa income floor, and still leaves room to save. The D7, Portugal's main path for retirees living on passive income, requires proof of just 920 euros a month as of this year, about $1,000, which most Social Security checks clear without breaking a sweat. Now here's the twist most retirement videos still get wrong: Portugal's famous NHR tax program, the one that let new retirees pay just a flat 10% on foreign pension income, officially closed to new applicants back in April of 2025. If you've watched an older video promising that flat 10% rate, it's out of date. Only people who already secured NHR status before the cutoff keep it for their remaining years, and no amount of paperwork now reopens that door. New arrivals now fall under standard Portuguese tax rates, so talk to a cross-border tax advisor before you move, not after you've already signed a lease. 2 more things worth knowing before you book a flight. Every single one of these 12 towns sits under a full public and private healthcare network, but Medicare does not follow you overseas, not 1 mile of it. So private insurance, running 50 to 100 euros a month, is standard for American retirees here, and it buys you shorter waits and English-speaking staff at private clinics like Hospital Particular do Algarve. And American citizens living in Portugal still file a return with the IRS every year, no matter how far the mailing address moves, though a tax treaty exists to help prevent double taxation on the same income. These 12 towns aren't on the postcards, and they never made anyone's top 5 list before this one. But each offers what the famous Algarve resorts and Lisbon apartments lost somewhere along the way: real neighbors, real culture, and a fixed income that finally gets to breathe instead of just survive on a spreadsheet. Visit before you commit. Rent before you buy for at least a full year if you can manage it, and let your own eyes make the final call rather than a brochure. I drop videos like this every week, breaking down exactly where your money goes furthest and what nobody tells you about getting there. Subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.